parking only.
Yeah, fine, okay, don't, just sentence.
Going down.
Someone must have pulled out, because Bonnie wasn't gonna be speaking. She was gonna attend, but not speaking. Has Michael Schellenberger shown up yet?
Yes, he has.
Oh, he's here?
Yeah,
There he is.
How
are you?
Likewise.
I know.
Wow.
I know.
So exciting.
How
You
are
clean up really well.
made it.
Oh, thank you.
Mayor Meehan, what are we doing here today?
Well, we're having a congressional hearing to really hear from all the entities that are basically affected by the proposed wind farms to be built off the coast of Ocean City. We're expecting to be able to at least express some of the concerns to the congressman and to have our point of view heard. And in many instances, I don't think it has been heard.
I want to thank all of you for coming out this Saturday afternoon to attend this very important public event on the effects of offshore wind industrialization on our marine life, environment, and economy. I want to give a very special thanks to my colleagues, Congressman Jeff Van Drew and Congressman Chris Smith of New Jersey, for traveling here today to be part of this important event.
"2023 was not an anomaly, but a continuation of increased whale deaths that started in 2016, which is exactly when the offshore wind development began. It's like someone flipped a switch and the whales started dying. Something acute happened within the ocean that caused these whales to die in a large numbers. Let's see if I can put them. And that is what we're trying to understand, and that is what NOAA claims has nothing to do with the whale deaths. So right now what I'm doing is preparing my testimony for this afternoon, which will be a congressional inquiry into offshore wind development, the impacts of offshore wind development. The goal ultimately is for Congress to recognize that NOAA and BOEM, both agencies of the federal government, do not appear to be taking a hard look at the real impacts of these projects. And that is really statutorily what their job is to do by law. So the first step is to have this hearing, and the goal ultimately is to have a hearing before Congress. This inquiry is happening in Ocean City, Maryland. It is the dead of winter. No one goes to Ocean City, Maryland in the winter. But it's important because this is one of the communities that will be heavily impacted by these turbines. They'll be very visible. Writing this testimony is actually very difficult. It seems like it would be easy since I spend all of my time working on the questions of impacts of offshore wind. But distilling the information down to a simple presentation, we have 3 to 5 minutes to give this presentation. It's never easy to go before Congress, not to mention the fact that it's not a usual place you find yourself. So you have to be very careful about what you say, how you say it, because you don't want to sound like you're just reading. You want to be conversational somewhat. So it starts out, good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to speak before you today. For the record, my name is Lisa Linos. Since 2006, I've served as the executive director and spokesperson for the Wind Action Group, where we track and report on the costs and impacts of large-scale wind energy. In 2021, I assisted in the formation of the Save Right Whales Coalition, and our work at the coalition is the focus of my testimony today. The notion that NOAA and BOEM have fully investigated and assessed the risks of the offshore wind development and are prepared to mitigate for the harms is absolutely false. In the context of the North Atlantic right whale, a species on the verge of extinction, it will take years to understand the level of impact. And by that point, it will be too late. What follows is a quick overview of what we learned in our research. First, the pattern of whale deaths in the Atlantic is positively correlated with the increase in offshore wind activities in the wind lease areas. The year 2023 was not an anomaly, but a continuation of increased whale deaths that started in 2016, exactly when the offshore wind development began. 2, NOAA data show that as many as 7 North Atlantic right whales were found dead on or near Martha's Vineyard in Massachusetts between August 2017 and August 2018. Aggregate vessel tracks in the same period show intensive wind sonar activity in the wind lease area immediately south of the island. 3, since Block Island Wind Project started construction in 2016, 5 verified humpback whale deaths have been observed either on Block Island or in the immediate vicinity of the turbines. NOAA data do not show any humpback whale deaths on Block Island prior to 2016. 4, since 2016, NOAA has issued incidental harassment authorizations, or IHAs, for offshore wind work in the Atlantic that authorize nearly 600,000 instances of take of marine mammals, including, ready for this, 1,000 right whales. If I could remind you, there are less than 340 right whales on the planet today. This issue, coupled with the increase in vessel activity to, from, and within the wind lease area, is disrupting whale movement. It is for these reasons that we believe whales have been dying. If no action is taken to investigate this further, the deaths will continue as the development increases. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Linos. Dr. Van Drew.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here. Before I start, I just want to thank Dr. Andy Harris for having this. We had a wonderful meeting that the three of us attended in my district in Wildwood, New Jersey. And by the way, we have an Ocean City, New Jersey, as well as an Ocean City, Maryland. And to put everything to rest, they are both equally as beautiful. How about we leave it at that? We did a study, and probably in just one of my counties, I have 6 counties in my district. In one of my counties, Cape May County. In Cape May County, we estimate it will only be a $1.2 billion loss in tourism dollars. We know it's going to hurt, and the statistics prove it. And you know what showed more than anything, and it was almost biblical in nature, the whales. These beautiful mammals, these beautiful animals that live in our ocean that God has blessed us with. And one after another, dozens in our area, washed ashore. Record amount. And they said, gee, it was coincidental. It was shipping accidents with boats. Well, the same boats are traveling the same routes at the same times that they always have. That wasn't the reason. And you're going to hear why it wasn't that reason. We still have a fight ahead, and I'm fighting. I don't care what part of the country it is, because it's worth doing.
Thank you, Dr. Van Drew. The first panelist is Megan Lapp from the Center for Sustained Fisheries.
Thank you, Congressman, for allowing me to speak today. My name is Megan Lapp, and I represent Seafreeze, a Rhode Island commercial fishing company. Last year's surge of large baleen whale deaths on the East Coast, coinciding with unprecedented offshore wind seismic survey activity, led to calls by 30 coastal New Jersey mayors, as well as Congressman Harris, Van Drew, and Smith, for a pause on further offshore wind surveying until an investigation of any link between the surveys and whale deaths could be completed. NOAA and BOEM's response was to deny any potential correlation, despite the fact that NOAA's own documents state that offshore wind surveys are expected to cause temporary deafness of marine mammals, that repeated exposure to temporary deafness can lead to permanent deafness, but that there is no data on noise-induced hearing loss for baleen whales, exactly the species that were washing up dead. This would seem to warrant a pause, including to determine if deafness were leading to ship strikes in the busy shipping channels of the area. However, a pause and investigation were denied. Another offshore energy industry, also regulated by BOEM and required to obtain incidental take authorizations from NOAA for seismic survey activity, is the oil and gas industry in the Gulf of Mexico. NOAA authorizations issued for these surveys actually contain a requirement for a full survey shutdown in the event of a marine mammal live stranding within 50 kilometers of survey operations. Additionally, the authorizations provide for an investigation of any marine mammal strandings in the vicinity of surveys if circumstances suggest that survey activities could have caused the strandings. In other words, had the whale deaths coincided with oil and gas surveys instead of offshore wind surveys, the pause and investigation requested by the congressman would have been standard procedure.
Thank you very, very much. And I'm just going to add that, we plan to actually have 9 seats over on that side of panelists, and we invited U.S. Wind, and we invited the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, and we invited the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Never heard back from U.S. Wind, and the other 2 federal agencies declined to attend. I suspect that when you hear what some of the panelists have to say, as you just heard, you might understand why they might have declined to attend. The next panelist is Mr. Robert Rand from Rand Acoustics. Mr. Rand.
My name is Robert Rand. I'm the owner of Rand Acoustics LLC with over 4 decades of expertise in acoustics, including industrial noise control. I know how to measure sound. I use calibrated Type 1 and research grade instrumentation. More than that, I care about whales. They are beautiful creatures. I've been involved in sonar noise impact analysis since 1999. I've recorded vibrant, healthy humpback whale populations in Hawaii and sparse, depleted, endangered right whales off of Cape Cod. With increasing reports of whale and dolphin deaths along the eastern seaboard, in May of 2023, I measured underwater sound levels from a wind industry sonar survey vessel operating 43 miles off of the New Jersey coast. In November of 2023, I measured underwater sound levels from pile driving operations southwest of Nantucket. These surveys provide what I believe are the first independent calibrated measurements of offshore wind industry sonar and pile driving underway off the eastern seaboard. Sonar sparker bang bang sounds underwater were loud at 2 nautical miles, and as we got closer to the ship, they got louder. It appears that NOAA has no idea what the sound vessels are using or how loud they are. The pile driving noise measured as loud as seismic air guns used for geophysical oil and gas exploration, even with NOAA's required noise mitigation technologies. These levels are far too loud to be permitted anywhere near whale habitat.
The sounds that you did record, the noise that you did record, the acoustics you did record were beyond allowable limits set by regulation. Is that correct?
The sonar levels were above those that were permitted. And we discovered that when we looked at the permits that they had used what I call a proxy level. They picked a value for their model that was way below the actual levels from the manufacturer's data.
And in my mind, you can't say this, but that noise was deafening to the whales. And NOAA embalmed once again, because it's a different project. Rules for thee, but not for me. Rules for commercial fishermen, but not for everybody else. Rules for people that do their work out in the ocean, or rules for tourism, but not for everybody else. But damn it, it's not rules for the wind industry. Thank you for your work. So when the whales died, man, everybody started noticing, thank God. Because in the beginning, to be honest with you, you were just talking into the wind. People didn't see it. They didn't understand it. It didn't sound bad. It's changed a lot. You need to talk to your friends. You need to talk to your colleagues. You need to talk to your neighbors and let them know and understand how serious this is. But I tell you what you got to do. You got to keep up the public relations. You got to keep making noise. You got to keep screaming about what this is. But they had problems with public relations. They had problems because the tide was turning, because thousands, millions of people actually in the state were really getting very concerned. and we kept the pressure up. Twist them up in court, tie them up, fight against them, rally against them. We had rally after rally after rally. This is a hard fight. We've won a couple battles. The congressmen that you see here have fought those battles. But ladies and gentlemen, we have a war to win. Do not succumb. Do not be weak, and we will prevail.
Thank you, Dr. Van Drew. Thank you very much, and the forum is concluded.
It's ridiculous. This is really old, but my husband's gone through so many. My husband's gone through so many. I'm like, I'm not giving up this one. He goes, I'll give you mine. I'm like, no.
Appreciate it.
You're so welcome. This was very good. I love the turnout.
Yeah, it was a great turnout.
Yeah.
Anna did a great job getting the word out.
Some other stupid
To have it all on the record is just so important because we haven't had that opportunity at all. So this is huge.
Thank you for this. Appreciate it.
Doc. All right, listen, thank you again. Thank you so much. We'll see you in 10 days. You got it. Back on the other side of the Chesapeake.
The government's saying that they've looked at this and there's nothing there. Is there some way that we can force NOAA and BOEM to have to deal with our data and our research?
It may just have to be done in a court of law.
Okay.
I mean, you know, where it becomes clear to the fact-finding, judge that BOEM has not done its homework on this.
Okay.
It has not taken into account all the unknowns. It has based its decision-making on poor or no science. And unfortunately, that's increasingly, we increasingly depend on that oversight of our regulatory agencies through the court system instead of through the way it's normally done, which is oversight.
I mean, we want hearings now.
Look, I will tell you, we can have hearings, but in the end, I do think it's litigation that's going to and I think that the litigation will succeed. And I think that's why a lot of these companies are now stepping back and saying, we're not even going to go forward. Because I suspect they think they could get through the permitting process.
Yeah.
I suspect they're afraid they're going to go further down the line and they're going to hit a brick wall on litigation.
Yeah, because the science is the science.
This is,
I mean, it's too devastating.
Onshore developers avoid litigation like the plague. They will settle out of court. They do not want a decision that establishes a precedent.
Correct. They're trying to take advantage of ambiguity that I don't think exists. I think they're not doing their due diligence on this, and I think any reasonable fact-finding entity, which in this case would be a court, will find that.
Congressman, thank you for your leadership. I appreciate you.
Thank you for
Yeah,
being here.
thank you.
Thank you for being here. It's great. Thanks for taking the time.
So, what did you guys think?
Yeah, this was very worthwhile.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get those hearings.
I do too. This was a little bit like a dress rehearsal.
It will change. People.
Wind
a lot of
lobby
people will
is
know more.
so powerful.
They have all of our money.
Yeah,
they have all of our money.
They have all of our money. Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Self-financed.
Yeah, it's brilliant,
self-destruction. Yeah. Because for me, I think what I got was just that they were like, it's really about the lawsuits. I mean, that's what Congressman Travis, or it was Congressman Harris.
Right.
That's what he was saying. He's just kind of like, Congress is tricky. So, but he was sort of like, it's got to be in the courts.
Just the details about the impact on fishing, I mean, I've heard all that before, but have it all so condensed, and it was just riveting to hear. And then to hear it from the local reps that came up, because they know a lot, they know all about it.
What'd you get out of it, Lisa?
This crowd and all of the voices here, I'm like, I have been into a lot of events, and it was just a really strong presentation on the opposition to this stuff. So many times you feel like you're just shouting into the wind. I'm like, no one's listening. All of this work we're doing, all of these studies we're doing, and no one cares. But it's actually paying. I think all the work that we're doing, everyone speaking here is obviously spending a lot of time investigating this issue, and it's going to help. At least there are people that are going to consume it and act on it.
It seems like it really touches people here.
It does. It's amazing.